I would like to welcome each and every one of you, distinguished participants. Welcome. Welcome to the INTERSECT Entrepreneurship Training Program. I would like to thank all our participants and all our speakers for their participation. I'm going to give you some information about this training program, and I'm also going to give you information about INTERSECT project in general. INTERSECT project is actually a comprehensive training program on entrepreneurship. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the partner organizations which are supporting INTERSECT. German Marshall Fund is based in US. It's a think tank and non-governmental organization. So with German Marshall Funds is supporting organization to inclusive entrepreneurship training program. It started last year. This training program started last year, and Marshall Memorial Fellowship is a support program which is also of belonging to GMF, and we are in cooperation with Metumir. Metumir is bringing together migration researchers and students or undergraduate and graduate and PhD students who are interested in migration studies. So it's a platform bringing together such people. We are conducting many activities under the roof of Metumir. If you are interested in further details, we have a YouTube channel. If you go to that YouTube channel, you can listen to our sessions with many academicians and entrepreneurs, and you can check our website and you can follow us on social media. As I mentioned before, German Marshall Fund is one of the supporting organizations. In addition, another organization which has not denied us with their support is TOP, and TOP Entrepreneur Europe and TOP Technology Transfer Office and TOP ETU Migration Studies Program are among the supporting organizations of our program. We would like to thank each and every one of them. Let me talk to you about this program. Metumir is Middle East Technical University Migration Studies platform, and it has been conducted similar programs for a long time. We have very experienced trainers today. During this certification program, we are going to talk to you about what entrepreneurship is, what kind of considerations we should have to become successful. And so this is a training with a general training about such topics. This is the first session. We started at 9:30 and we are going to go on until 1 o'clock. Then on the 13th and 20th of November, we are going to have 2 more sessions. Even you may have an entrepreneurship idea, or you may not have such an idea, but you may be interested in entrepreneurship. You may be a Turkish citizen, or you may be a migrant. We have received more than 200 applications, and we have selected you to be participants of today. I hope that you will be able to participate in all the seminars, and you will be able to complete the whole program. Then you are going to be communicated among yourselves. You are going to be communicated with our jury and with our entrepreneurs, so that more interaction will follow. So we don't want this program to end with trainings, to stop with trainings. We want these ideas, the things that you learn in this training, to be put into action in the rest of your life. If you want to start a project after this training program, maybe you are supposed to communicate us your project idea after some time. So we are going to send you emails about how all these details. In addition, the top-ranking finalist is going to be benefiting from free of charge office and infrastructure services for 6 months in TOP Technology Transfer Office Incubation Center, and that top #1 finalist will be also able to get free of charge training and mentoring support as well. So the top-ranking finalists, as I will explain to you later, will be able to benefit from these opportunities. But it's not just the top-ranking finalists, but all the participants as well will be able to benefit from such opportunities. So it is very important you follow us till the end of this series of trainings. And let me also tell you what the agenda is. Today, after my speech, Başak Yavçan from Top.Edu and Liège University Hugo Observatory, Associate Professor Başak Yavçan is going to conduct an impact analysis. She's going to send you a link, and you are going to click on that link and fill out a form. We have made a minor change in our agenda. Selahattin Ciritci is going to catch his flight. That's why we moved his speech to an earlier hour. He's going to talk to us about good practices. Then Seval Hanım will follow from Top Brussels office and Europe. She's going to talk to you about the EU approach to entrepreneurship competencies and entrepreneurial framework. And the last speaker is Associate Professor Adil Oran, Business Management Department of Middle East Technical University. He's going to talk to us about the roles and the types of entrepreneurships. So this is the agenda for today. I wish we have a very good and very fruitful training today. We are very happy to have you here today. I hope we have a very nice and fruitful training session today. I'm going to now leave the floor to Başak Yavçan. Good morning. Thank you very much for giving me the floor. My name is also Başak Yavçan from Top Economy Technology University. I would like to thank Başak Metumir for organizing this nice event. Since the very beginning, we have been following this project with great enthusiasm, and we are very happy to see the progress made. And we are grateful for the efforts to convene this session today. For the follow-up of such meetings, it is really important to show the impact of our trainings, and it is really important to make sure that the participants leave this training with great satisfaction. That's why we've actually drafted a survey. It takes 6 minutes to fill out that survey. This survey is aiming to understand to what extent INTERSECT is meeting your needs. You are not going to give your personal information, and the questions are not associated with any personal information. So this is totally an anonymous survey, and your replies are analyzed collectively, not individually. Your participation is going to be on a voluntary basis. You may withdraw at any time you like, and you may answer any questions you like. But the more you participate, the more questions you reply, the better your contribution will be to go on with some similar trainings in the future. We drafted 3 surveys depending on languages. The first survey is going to be shared with you through chat. Please check the chat for the link. This is the first survey, which is in Turkish. It is for the host community. So people from Turkey click on this link. The second and third surveys are for migrant participants. If you want to fill out the survey in Turkish, click on the second link, and if you want to fill out the survey in English, click on the third link. A similar survey will be extended to you at the end of this training as well, so that we can better understand your satisfaction and the impact that we create. So now you are supposed to fill out the surveys. Please click on the links and fill out the surveys. It will only take 6 or 7 minutes. Thank you very much.
Evet, cevaplar gelmeye başladı. Bu işin de en heyecan verici yanı o.
I have started to see the replies, which is the most exciting part. You see the replies as people respond to the survey.
Şu ana kadar 13 arkadaşımız tamamladı.
13 people have completed the survey so far.
Teşekkür ederiz onlara.
Thank you.
20 kişi olduk. Sonunda bitti ya basarsanız daha hızlı düşer.
Now it is 20 people. Please click on the end the survey button or done button so that we can see your replies. At the very bottom of the page, please click on done button so that Başak Hanım can view the results. Please don't forget to click on this end survey or done button for us to see your replies.
Geç bağlanan bazı arkadaşlar var. Geç bağlanan arkadaşlar
There
var.
are some participants who have joined later. Those who have joined later, please check chat because we have Başak Hanım has shared some surveys in the chat. And please select which one you like to fill out depending on your language choices. You can either fill the survey in Turkish or in English. If you are from the local community, please use the first link. And if you are a refugee or a migrant, and if you want to fill the survey in Turkish, go to the second link. And if you're a migrant and refugee, and if you want to fill out the survey in English, then go to the third link. We will wait for a couple of minutes. Then the link will remain open. 28 people have filled out the surveys so far, so we can start. In the meantime, you can always fill out those surveys until noon today. Thank you very much for your participation in those surveys, and thank you very much for your participation in this training session. I am looking forward to giving you the links of the surveys that we are going to give you at the end of this training. I hope that you will learn a lot of things from this training. I hope we will learn a lot of things from you as well. Thank you very much. Thank you. So as not to lose any time, I would like to proceed with our first speaker. Selahattin Ciritci is our first speaker. He's going to talk to us about the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Turkey and in the world. Selahattin Bey is a trainer in the EU training programs and youth center of the National Agency of Turkey. He is a graduate of international relations of Anadolu University. Then he completed his master's degree on business management at Toros University. Then in 2021, he started his Ph.D. degree on entrepreneurship in Adana University. He was a project coordinator and he was an expert in the International Affairs Department of Toros University. He is interested in EU affairs, and he was involved in many entrepreneurship projects. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. You can start your presentation, Selahattin Bey. Thank you very much. Good morning. I hope you would hear me nice and clear. By the way, I would like to correct some information. I am actually a graduate of Finance Department of Uludağ University. Then I followed my education with the International Relations Department. Sorry for this confusion. No, it's okay. It's okay. Good morning. My name is Selahattin. You can even call me Selo in the chat. By the way, in the chat, I received a message from chat, a direct message from chat from Ahmet Hassun. He says that without you, we would be missing. Actually, he's a Syrian person, a Syrian migrant, where we provided him with mentorship. And the National Agency of Turkey has also completed an international symposium. Another participant from that symposium is among us today, who is Caner. So actually the network is very small. People who are belonging to the same network, they get to know each other better. We are really a handful of people, and it's a very, very small network we are talking about. It's Saturday morning. Everyone is, I'm sure that they are having their coffee, and I'm not sure about the weather in other cities, but maybe it's raining and you are having your coffee by the window watching the rain. If you can turn on your cameras, I would be very happy to see your faces, to actually see that you are there. So if it's okay for you, of course, you can turn on your camera so that I can see your faces. Maybe we are going to meet again in another program in the future. Maybe you will say that I wanted to be maybe you can be an investor to my project idea. Actually, Adil Bey is smiling because we met him in a case study training. It was like 3 years ago in that training that we were together with Adil Bey. So it's very nice to see you. I see Volga, Tutku, Feyza, Caner. So those who want to turn on their camera, I would be very happy to see you. First of all, how are you and why are you in this training? Because someone threatened to kill you, that's why you came to this training? Or why are you in this training? Can you write from the chat? One word, please, explaining us the reason of why you are here. Because you are run out of the series in Netflix. There is no series for you to watch in Netflix. Why can you please write one word to the chat explaining why you are here? Someone said to add value to me, to myself. Rabia has written that. Or to gain different perspectives. In this 1 hour, I'm going to do my best to explain you what kind of a perspective you should have on the ecosystem and how we are motivating ourselves. Someone has written to gain different perspectives from chat. You can write in English, by the way. No problem. I'm going to wait for 1 minute to understand why you are here on Saturday morning. Maybe Başak Hanım has threatened you. It happened to us when I was a university student. All the university students were forced to participate in all the seminars. Actually, the experience that I have in terms of the NGOs is an experience that I gained because my professors forced me to participate in seminars. Selahattin Bey, in Middle East Technical University, everything is on a voluntary basis. And these people were selected out of 200 applicants. So they are special people. Participants today, they are special. They are really interested in learning. This is actually surprising. During the pandemic, people are a bit fed up with online programs. So having 200 applicants is a surprising number for me. Someone has written, I wanted to learn new things. I want to be an entrepreneur. I am interested in learning about entrepreneurship ideas concerning migration. So why am I interested in entrepreneurship? Why am I trying to be specialized in entrepreneurship? I cannot call myself a specialist because the changes are fast. So let me explain you why I am specialized in this topic. When I was a university student at Anadolu University, there were many active student clubs. I'm still following what they are doing. I was talking about I'm talking about the beginning of the 2000s. So back at that time, entrepreneurship was not a popular idea. Then the National Agency of Turkey started its activities in 2004, and Erasmus program was introduced in Turkey. So with this Erasmus program, we have had the chance to give an opportunity to young people to further improve themselves, to make sure that their dreams come true. So we have been able to meet such young people. I am a bit old now, but I am one of the first young people who participated in such programs. And since 2008, I have been working for the National Agency of Turkey, and since Youth Network is a network that I have been involved in since 2018. I am a trainer of that network, international network as well. This is not my career plan. This wasn't my career plan, because during my internship I was trying to focus on international relations, EU affairs. I participated in programs of Galatasaray University. I participated in some programs of which are carried out abroad. So this is something very much related to what you are passionate about. If you want me to speak slowly, please can warn me. Since 2015, actually I am from Adana, and since 2015, what we have been trying to focus more on is volunteerism. It used to be volunteerism, EU projects, and now we have started to talk about youth unemployment or youth entrepreneurs. Why did we start to talk about this hardcore topics instead of such soft topics like volunteerism or young people, youth projects? After 2015, we started to talk about youth unemployment and youth entrepreneurship instead of volunteerism or some other soft topics. Why did we start to talk about entrepreneurship? Why are we holding this training? This was actually one of the topics we covered in the symposium. You can unmute yourself, turn on your mic if you want to reply to this question. Instead of volunteerism, entrepreneurship is a more sustainable system. That's why you started to talk about entrepreneurship. Volunteerism actually should be part of your life for the rest of your life. Always it should be a part of your life. Yes, being a volunteer is good, but you need financial support after some time. Of course, yes, young people should generate their own income, because life is getting harder and harder, unfortunately. By the way, entrepreneurship or youth problems are not specific to Turkey. Any other comments? Why are we talking about these topics? Why do we want young people in particular to become entrepreneurs? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Let's put it in this way. Sometimes chat messages come in a late manner, so that's why I wait. Maybe I can tell a few remarks about this thing. When it comes to employment by the public sector, it is limited. Culturally speaking, many parents, many people belonging to all generations recommend you to become a civil servant. They think that this is a guaranteed job. This is a job which gives you guarantee for the rest of your life. But we have a very large young population. 20 million young people live in Turkey, and they need to meet more employment opportunities. But creating employment opportunities for young people is hard, and expecting that the public sector should do this is not realistic. Public sector cannot employ everyone. 3 years ago, 1,250,000 was the youth unemployment in Turkey. I don't want to talk about the current youth unemployment in Turkey. Unfortunately, this number is increasing, and public sector cannot employ everyone. Currently, 5 million people are employed by the public sector in Turkey, and we are talking about 20 million young people in Turkey. We cannot find a job for all of them in the public sector. On the other hand, technology advancements are quite fast. There are really fast developments in the technology, which is giving opportunities for young people, which is giving opportunities for young people. Like you may be living in a village of Adana, you may find a business idea, and if you find the right channels, right models, you can market it anywhere in the world, although you are living in a small village. So internet tools, online tools are really helping people put their ideas into action in a very fast manner. Sena, for instance, commented in the chat, we have started to see more successful entrepreneurs, we have started to see them more and more. Yes, instead of finding a job somewhere, many people find it more profitable to be an entrepreneur. Instead of commuting to job like 9 o'clock in the morning and coming back home at 6 in the evening, to your own house is going to your own work is really more promising. I cannot, of course, talk on your behalf. My expectation from life is maybe similar to yours, but it is more close to the expectation of the older generations. You are a new generation, and you are standing in between the opportunities and challenges. So that's why you need to make best use of the opportunities and the challenges. So let's now proceed with some good practices. I'm very enthusiastic about this topic. I sent you a link. Check the chat. Go to that link. And what kind of characteristics should an entrepreneur have? This is the first question. Write the first top three characteristics that comes to your mind. Right from the link that I sent to you. You can also use Menti. Just go to menti.com and use the code that you see on the screen. I think everyone sees it right now. According to your opinion, what kind of characteristics should an entrepreneur have? Practical mindset, innovative, risk to take risks, money, someone said, patience, self-confidence, creativity, motivation, self-confidence again. Capital. Capital is not limited to money. I think human resources is an important capital as well. We will be talking about ecosystem in a couple of minutes. I will underline this. We still need specialized people in this field. Actually, working in entrepreneurship centers is a career opportunity, disciplines, able to make good observations, researchers. I've seen adventurous. You may have a very small minor projects as an adventure, but at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is not limited to an adventure. You have to spend your time, spend your energy, and you will be spending your time, energy, and money for this. Maybe for the ideas, you can be adventurous. Dreamer, being a dreamer is definitely something I agree with, because without a dream, you cannot put it into action. Otherwise, every application is similar to another one. There are kinds of ideas which are like copy-paste, but the ideas which are distinguishing themselves from the others are based on more research, patience, determination, eager to learn. Second question. The chat, please, and again, this is another critical question. Out of these characteristics which should be possessed by an ideal entrepreneur, which ones of such characteristics do you think you have? So how do you define yourself? Do you think which ones of these ideal characteristics that the entrepreneur should have? Do you possess them? For instance, I'm really skilled at restarting things, depending on the opportunities, depending on the advancements. I can restart from scratch at any time.
Crisis management, I see that one. Maybe after this training, you will have parts of teams, or you will build, or will be working with many teams, team members, and at each and every stage of your business, you will be sharing experiences and knowledge using financial resources or transforming things, your efforts into success. You might be faced with many crises, especially when you're working with people who don't know one another dearly, but who have come just together just around an idea. Curious, courageous, experienced. That's great. That's great. Persons that are not giving up. You see courage in between, right at the center. I mean, not in between. I'm sorry, but and it's written in bold and big, so it's at the forefront. It's a good start for a Saturday. Determination, resolution, pertinence. Başak reminded me that we have many participants, and we will be speaking about social entrepreneurship, what's going on in Turkey and in the world, and probably Adil will be telling us about social entrepreneurship as one of the different types of entrepreneurship. We will meet there next week. Well, I see words that I have not seen for a long while. You have respect, you have work hard, you have. So respect is, I think it's about teams, right? Team members. And you have a lot of positive feedback here. You have a lot of positive feedback here about the participants. If you have an idea, the group of people here should give you some hope. Yeah, there was this training by Başak, and we attended to that training. And the kids, their children, their youngs, their students of management, student of software development, etc. And we had the question in our minds whether or not these people, these youngs, would be with us, walk this path with us. And I see now that the answer to that question is yes, because looking at the screen, you have what people are strongest at. You have the want to learn, for example. Thank you for sharing all that ideas, all that information, by the way. So now let's take a look at briefly to the ecosystem. Well, during COVID-19, the pandemic, entrepreneurship has taken a different shape. There are three things that requires emphasis: resilience. I think you should all see it now. Resilience is one of them. The pandemic just started. I mean, it was on the news. Tomorrow, there's a lockup. Stay at home, no going out. Could you tell me the most famous, the most frequented coffee house in Metu? Could you tell me? I don't remember. Çatı, right. So imagine you have Rabia and Tutku, both of you. You bid for the tender of Çatı. You're designing a new cafe. It's just around February, just before hours before the pandemic, and now you have won the tender. You're investing, spending money, changing all the design. There will be digital menus on the tables, and people will click on those, and then they will be prepared back there in the kitchen, etc. And then, bow, then comes the pandemic. How are you going to survive such a thing? I mean, resilience. Would you be as resilient to resist that for such a long while, 2 years now, maybe? That would not have been easy. That would have been different, really. I mean, for such a resilience, we should have carried out a risk analysis that could have foreseen that such a pandemic would be the case. I mean, but if we were resilient, then we could stick with takeout, not takeout, but home servicing. I've never been around Metu, and if there are still students living in dorms, then we might have come up with certain campaigns or other initiatives to bring them into the process, to build something new around students who live in the dorms, etc. It's a new learning process that you got to manage well. So the word resilience is like a slap on our faces. I mean, being resilient against the most unexpected events, crises, disasters, whatever, that requires you to take action and quick action to manage the entire process. There are comments. Rabia says we would opt for new strategies, try to change our strategies, etc. So risk taking was one of the words on the screen. So this is a good example of risk taking. And this is a global health crisis, of course, that no one would have thought about. But this pandemic has taught us one thing, and one thing, if anything, only one thing: anything can happen anytime. So we have now gotten our minds around this idea. Then, okay, after resilience, we have agile. Tutku mentioned this. Agile, being able to the capability to act as fast as possible in terms of crisis management, in terms of team building, in terms of maintaining that dynamism, because entrepreneurship is not just anything, it's not just any aspect of any social project, because on the flip side of entrepreneurship, you will have products, production, manufacturing of products, production of services, provision of services, financial resources that you got to be very good at using. So I'm a lean back person, lay back person, etc. I mean, you wouldn't be around in November 2022. So you have to be as agile as possible. Agility in learning, agility in team management, agility in renovation of ideas, modification of ideas. Agility is everywhere. That's why it is one of the most valuable words for us after resilience. And then someone has written this down a while ago in the chat box or on the screen. Learn to learn. It's about learning to learn. Yes, think about 20 years back, 30 years back, those generations would have the luxury of living an entire lifetime with a single diploma. That diploma would maintain your survival for 30 years. But now the competition is so fierce. The competition between us, competition all over the world, globally speaking, is so fierce. So we got to position ourselves. We got to position ourselves so aptly, so skillfully, so correctly, and never cease to learn anew. I mean, there is an enormous flow of information. A couple of years back, the flow of information was, I mean, the information, the mass of information, or the volume of information that has been generated since the dawn of mankind is now being produced year on year. So you got to learn everything. You have to learn and learn and learn. You can't say, okay, I want to live the life of a retired person, a retiree in boardroom. Okay, if your parents aren't rich, if you haven't inherited no money from them, then you got to work and you got to learn. Or you can be a retiree, of course, but learning is at the center, at the very heart of our lives, you can see, which brings, has anyone heard of FOMO? Which entails a lot of disturbances, by the way. FOMO, yeah, it's in the chat box. This is FOMO, FOMO. Did anyone, fear of missing out? It means fear of missing out. So, yeah, Caner, how can people manage to escape those escapees. There's the circulation, and the circulation goes for the field of entrepreneurship as well. There is a very, very busy circulation, and there are social entrepreneurship initiatives in Thailand. You turn to Thailand, but behind your back, you're missing what's going on in the US. From the north to the south and the west to the east, it's the same thing, and it's all information all over. You got to be able to use that information to best fit your purposes. When you are taking an initiative and coming up with a startup, for example, you have to think about division of tasks, division of labor, including learning to learn, because not anyone can do this. It's not an easy thing to do. So whether you like it or not, learning to learn is something you must learn to do. So let's take a look at the ecosystem now. This is the word ecosystem. The ecosystem, entrepreneurship ecosystem of this, ecosystem of that. It's one of the pompous words that we'll be encountering quite often. So I am a part of the ecosystem of entrepreneurship. These are my duties and these are the steps I'm taking, etc. But clustering was at the basis of the word ecosystem, the entrepreneurship ecosystem. There's a leader in this cluster. This is the ecosystem. You have a leader, you have a culture, you have a capital, and you have open-minded clients, especially speaking about entrepreneurship. So when we say entrepreneurship and leaders, who is? Can you name any names? Can you name any agencies that has a leading role? Getir, that's a private company. So yeah, I mean, Getir is expanding exponentially and also entering the European market. Zorlu, Yemek Sepeti, Girişimcilik Society, Entrepreneurship Foundation, Trendyol, hepsi burada. Yeah, I mean, if those are the ones that pop up in your mind. These are all private companies. How about individuals, individual entrepreneurs? Who can you think of? Eren Bali, Nasdaq, yeah, was in the US in Nasdaq. Well, I mean, Eren Bali is the founder of Udemy, by the way. Acun Ilıcalı. Yeah, of course, Acun. And by the way, it's a quite debated individual, Rabia. And we were talking about this, talking about Acun, whether or not he is an entrepreneur. Depending on your perspective, of course, you can call him an entrepreneur. But if we were given, all of us were given the same opportunities Acun has got, we couldn't be able maybe to market them as aptly, skillfully as Acun. And this does not change that he is an entrepreneur creating jobs, creating opportunities. I mean, if Acun was to walk in the world of technology with that capital, then he would become one of the milestones. But we know inside the Turkish ecosystem, we know his history. He means quite different to us. Carbon Health, we have Carbon Health from Adil. And you can see that these are mostly entrepreneurial companies. And you, for example, in the entrepreneurship training, they were saying this university or that development agency, Çukurova Development Agency, etc., COSGAP, for example. The president is to support small industries. But there are regional differences. Yes, there are regional differences when it comes to leadership. How about culture? Is our culture, I mean, in Izmir, Istanbul, Ankara, those are the big cities that are taking the lead in terms of entrepreneurship. They are debating quite extensively about entrepreneurship. So regarding entrepreneurship culture of entrepreneurship, do you think we have a culture that enables or that is enabling for entrepreneurship? If I was, for example, let's take the example of myself. Well, I will become an entrepreneur. If I was to go to my parents and tell them that I would become an entrepreneur, I have this pen and that would, get all the health information from the individuals, take measures, etc. And I'm selling out whatever I have to, well, my parents are villagers in Adana. Have you watched the series Adana? Çukurova, I'm sorry, that's my father. What do you think? he would tell me, if I was to tell him that I am walking out of school, walking out of this life, and I will create this pen, Bluetooth, and I will sell out anything. I will deal with this pen to produce it and make it as good as possible. That's going to be a health pen, like a magic wand. And 2-3 years, I will close myself up and work on this. What do you think my father would tell me? Yeah, don't come up with such ideas. Go to the university, first take your exam, and then you can still, yeah, you can still do whatever you want. I have comments in the chat box. My father would tell me to graduate from school first. Well, and Ravi, I think we don't have much room for maneuver here. I mean, taking exams, etc. He wouldn't say anything, but he would beat you up well with a belt. Yeah, and he would oust me from the provincial borders, and I wouldn't go back home to Adana ever again. Yeah, those are some of the comments. You see a lot of such stories on TED, on the web, everywhere, and our culture is not enabling for entrepreneurship, not much. I mean, we have this word, müteşebbis, directly translated as entrepreneurship, and there are and have been a lot of thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs in Turkey. So it is in our blood, it's in our culture, but then our focus as a nation has shifted, I'm sorry, towards the public sector. Yeah, Seval says bullshit. Yeah, that would be the first thing to come out of my father's mouth. You're telling me I have 5 minutes? Oh, you need more time? Well, it's an hour. It's an hour. You have an hour, including Q&A, but we can give you an extra 10 minutes. So we can give you an extra 10 minutes. Okay. Okay, I'm moving on fast. So our culture is not enabling. Sorry, translators, I'll be speaking up fast. Anyway, capital. Capital is not only about money, of course. You have human capital. In our region, you have other types of capitals. We have Mehmet Bolurgan, for example, the head of the network of investors. And he says, we have the money, we don't have any problem, but we don't have any good ideas. So capital does not necessarily mean money. You have to think about the correct and qualified workforce, human resources with passion. That's the principal capital. And this pen, I was trying to connect it with Bluetooth. It's an open idea. Can I sell this one in Adana? I don't think so. So I have to find markets with open-minded clients. So if you have an idea for a business, you have to go to the right you have to walk in the right direction at the right time and with the right people. I live in Ankara. Maybe you wouldn't be able to sell this one in Ankara, but there are definitely other places in other parts of the world, maybe, where you can make this a globalized business idea. And anyway, ecosystem has some aspects, principal aspects. When we say ecosystem, what it tells us vocational bodies, COSGAP, TÜBİTAK, you have technoparks, technology transfer offices, you have on the public side, people and networks who provide you with not only money, but also with networks where you can share your ideas for business. And there are people waiting to sell their ideas. And then you have technoparks, as I was saying, technology transfer offices and entrepreneurship centers, which I am and I was a part of. I baptized this entrepreneurship in no, there was the objective of that initiative. It was a port of ideas. It's called. I baptized it that way. You have Graham Gates. Maybe you heard about this. That's one of the greatest exits. It's like Peak Games. It's a gaming company. It's like a unicorn company. Ground Games was founded by some native of Günar, Mersin. So before this gaming company was sold, if you would ask to a teacher or a parent in Mersin, they would say, oh, come on, don't let your children play games, video games, etc. But now everybody's aware of the fact that what this company did. I mean, you go ask teachers, and they all encourage people to deal with the game design, graphic design to make 500 million US dollars. So inside this ecosystem, together with you, we will always be looking at one successful entrepreneur. There are initiatives, successful ones now, which didn't exist until yesterday when we were around. We were telling things about how to pull this off, and now things have changed. I mean, check Financial Times News, for example. There are questions, headlines, Silicon Valley shift to Istanbul, with question marks there. So entrepreneurship trainings, ideation camps, that's the third one. And of course, you have a lot of foreign words, startup weekend, hackathons, ideathons, such competitions, conferences, and other activities and events targeting diverse and various groups of people, which enable you to tap into human resources, certain networks of ideas, entrepreneurship networks, etc., as part of which we've been working for many years as mentors and mentees and juries, etc. Maybe we'll be able to meet in one of those events. You can see the unicorn. We use this unicorn as a metaphor. It's not easy to find those animals, and I think we're lucky. We should consider ourselves lucky, just like Arabian horses. We run faster once we get going. So when you call a company a unicorn company, that is 1 million plus US of value, just like Peak Games, 1.8 billion US dollars. That's the amount of money that US company Zynga has paid to buy Peak Games. And then we have Yemek Sepeti. Yemek Sepeti was sold for 589 million US dollars to Delivery Hero. And Opsgenie, remember there was a case study. You remember? Yeah, we hosted them together with you. Decacon, 10 million plus US dollars. Trendyol is evaluated 10 million plus US dollars, far above that. And then you have another one, Decacon, who can be one? Yeah, Getir. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. In one of the European capitals, in all European capitals, many European capitals, they are becoming more and more powerful as service providers. How much time do I have? Maybe I can skip Q&A. Well, I'm not taking time, keeping time, just taking down notes. Anyway, let me give you 5 more minutes. Maybe we will have some questions, and the questions and answers will give you some more opportunity to. Well, what does Getir do? Let me ask you. What does Getir do now? What do they do? I'm asking all 55 of you. What kind of a company is it? What? And I will continue asking the same question until you give me the right answer. What does Getir do? What do those guys? E-commerce creates requirements, creates need, creates time. Continues. What company is it? What kind of a company is it? It's a company that brings. Getir means to bring. So I didn't have the answer I'm looking for. It brings things, products, etc. Getir. What kind of a company is this one? Getir. You are the owner of this company. What do you do? Service provider. Let me remind you what they do in 10 minutes. For example, I mean, they do something that exists in our culture. You just open the window, roll up the window, and yell outside of your apartment to the apprentice of the bakkal, the small market, neighborhood market, asking for bread, asking for a pack of cigarettes, whatever, and they bring it. And this is exactly what these guys do. They make money. Yeah, they make enormous money, 7.6 billion US dollars, million dollars, and it's going to go beyond 10. What company is it? What kind of a company is Getir? I'm asking again and over. And service, that's all over the same. just change your perspective. Change your perspective. Reposition yourself. You are the owner of Getir, and think about it now. What do? What's your business?
Getir şu anda İspanya'nın en büyük dağıtım firması Block'u satın aldı.
Getir has just bought in Milano, I'm sorry, the biggest distribution company, Tutku, technology. Okay, technology is not. Well, what kind of a technology is that? Marketing? Okay, I give you the answer. It's a big data company in Milano. Getir knows what kind of people in Milano buy what and when time and according to what, depending on what, etc. They have that data. They become a big data company. So 70% of their job is about big data, and the remaining portion is about logistics and service provision and fetching. So technology companies have this data, very valuable data, and together with that data, they have this enormous power. So this is a Turkish technology startup, was a startup, not a Turkish company. They now have information as to what do people in Milano eat, when and where and why and how, everything. Yeah, it's a data company. Anyway, before questions and answers, I want to share this video with you, but see.
Şu beni çok heyecanlandıran, yani böyle bir başarıyı görmek çok ama çok keyifli. Şöyle Getir'in İngiltere reklamını görenler var mı bilmiyorum.
This is UK. And it's Getir.
Don't be sad, yo, cause baby, I got it going on. From app to door in minutes. Get it. You've got it.
Bunun hemen şöyle şunu kapatayım bir saniye.
Yeah. Let me turn this off. This is a UK advertisement, and it's a great advertisement. It's a Turkish company with a Turkish name, and maybe you remember or have heard. It's just two syllables, Getir, and the CEO was saying, we will teach the world this word, Getir. And now the world knows, and it's an enormous success, unbelievable, and they are growing at an unbelievable pace. Just like Hamdi Ulukaya and others in New York, for example. So they're going to become more and more valuable. I had another presentation about business ideas. I want to share that with you. Where is that? Well, Anyway, let's move on with the questions. Sorry, we have to cut it here because of time. But maybe we will have other opportunities to meet, because the entire ecosystem has gotten so big and it's so fun to talk about, to be a part of. There are upsides and there are downsides. There are successes as well as unsuccesses or failures. So I put this in the chat box.
Selahattin Bey, ayrıca sizi davet ederim.
Selahattin, by the way, we want to invite you, huh? Also. How shall I put it? Let's have another session with you. Let's have another module with you. And that will give you a chance to share what you have with us. What you couldn't this time. I mean, since Adil was here, I mean, since you have Adil here, I'm just a small figure in the shadow. But anyway, I will share with you this presentation in chat. It's about finding jobs and looking for jobs. Maybe the most important thing, I mean, being passionate is something, but you shouldn't fall in love with that idea. I mean, you should be able to get feedback from Başak, me, Hale, or maybe other team members. You have to be ready to dump that idea and go back and find where you have taken a misstep or where you have made a mistake in terms of choosing the right or wrong people as team members, etc. So being passionate is great. You shouldn't fall ever in love with your idea. And then resilience, you have to be resilient to all those processes. Yeah, I said blood, sweat, and tears, remember? On the one hand, on the flip side, you have great successes. So you have to acquaint yourself with stories of failure, and you have to accept it. You don't want to listen. That's our culture in our private life or in our business life. You don't want to come face to face with failures, but Western culture considers failures as experience. So you get more experience and you won't be making the same mistake again. So you will, after a couple of mistakes, you will start making money. You will start reaping. It's like fuck up nice. We call it iş batırmak. So at the end of the day, we call it failures. So there are certain programs bringing together the stories of those that have fucked up, that have failed. That's important. I will share with you some links in the Turkish ecosystem. What are the resources that are in use? I mean, you can say Tutku can say or Feyza can say, I don't like to read. I have this idea, but I don't want to read and go through, sift through, rake through reports and this and that. But you have to have someone, a couple of hands on your team to take care of that reading stuff. So, okay, that's back to you.
Ve gerçekten çok keyifliydi, çok eğlenceliydi. Ben bile sayfalarca not tuttum diyebilirim.
Thank you very much. I actually noted on many things, and I'm surely going to follow up everything you said, because I have firm belief in lifelong learning. Thank you very much for all of your remarks. You can write from chat, or you can turn on camera and unmute yourself for your questions. Selahattin Bey has to leave because he has to catch a flight. By the way, the Getir example was an interesting one, because a close friend, family member of mine, moved to the UK on Tuesday, and he or she wants to meet the CEO of Getir in that region to be responsible for that for the operations in that region. I also ask myself what Getir does, to what extent they are dependent on others. Is it plausible to get a franchise of Getir as an entrepreneur? Because as you as you have already said, that there are delivery people who are doing most of the operations. So to be dependent on others at the beginning, is it something correct? To be that much dependent on some other people at the beginning, is it something correct, or you should maybe start on your own? So these are some question marks in my mind. Any questions do you have? Who has a question? You may have a very good idea, but actually starting this journey without good team members is not realistic. You should find people who share the same dreams with you. When our motivation is down, actually some other team members make sure that we are again motivated, so that our spirit is up. Thank you. Tutku, the floor is yours. You talked about lifelong learning and learning to learn. You also talked about FOMO. I heard it for the first time. Maybe I wish you speedy recovery. I also feel this. Whenever I try to make a research, I find it very hard to concentrate on one thing. There are 40 tabs on my PC which are open. So I get some pieces of information from there, other pieces from other source. So I don't feel alone. Thank you very much. I share your fear. Yes, thank you very much. Unfortunately, this is the word, because you have to use technology, especially to be specialized in a field and to become an entrepreneur. You have to be able to analyze what's happening in your field. Many people in the ecosystem tell you that TikTok is a terrible thing. Have you use TikTok. Did you download TikTok? They say no. So without downloading it, you cannot see the benefit of TikTok. So we should be able to use TikTok before we see its advantages and disadvantages. I also have this habit of postponing everything. It's actually a disease. I use post-its and calendars to come up with a system. But if you have a team, and the team, if you allow your team members to check you, then it would be really good. I think everyone has the same disease. It's like we are all clinical cases in this regard. We talked about network a lot, and I'm sure that we are going to talk about network a lot. But if we can use network in the best manner possible, that would be very good. Today's program is also a networking program. I was able to use my network in GMF, and that's how we were able to organize today's meeting. We were not able to meet. Well, I didn't know Selahattin Bey, but I got to know him through Başak. So this system, all the mentors participating, all the jury members participating, they are all parts of a network. So make sure that you have good communication and good ties with every environment that you are in. And don't slam the doors behind you. This is really important. Any questions? Yes, everything is about network. I use this phrase a lot, and I was also involved in volunteerism department of the Turkish National Agency. Internationalization is very important. I'm sure that many people today are students. Thanks to such programs like Erasmus Plus, you will be able to see the opportunities abroad. When you go to Hungary as an Erasmus student, you will be able to see their culture. You will be able to see what they eat or what they like. Internationalization is a must for entrepreneurs. I am an alumni of American Embassy, so they use their My Network. One of the students used My Network to go to Hawaii and to go to Chicago. If I was a participant today, or if I was a student today, I would ask everyone to share their LinkedIn account and to get their email addresses. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, by the way, make sure that you get one. How can we set up the right team? That's a nice question. There are online programs today in today's world, and you can use them. These programs allow you to meet people from UK, from Ireland, and from Thailand. You wouldn't be able to meet them in real world. So although we are not able to chat with them face to face, we are now sharing our business ideas, and you can even use Zoom for participating in Ph.D. Programs using online resources. I participated in such a program from Denmark, and students and teachers were surprised to see me, and people asked me, why are you here? And I told them that I'm just curious to know what they are doing. So use every opportunity to meet people and to create a team. And Adil Bey actually shared a hashtag like find your co-partners. A question about social entrepreneurship. Adil Bey is going to talk about social entrepreneurship. Next week, we are going to have a training module specifically on social entrepreneurship. The Turkey Social Entrepreneurship Training Project is a project that I am part of. Koç University started this project. It is one of the most comprehensive projects in this field in Turkey. But when it comes, please check the social entrepreneurship networks in Turkey. In the 11th development plan of Turkey, Turkey set the goal 2025 to come up with a legislation, a legal regulation about social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship is you sell a product and you use part of your income to resolve a social problem, and you continue to do this until the problem is eliminated. Unfortunately, the program in Trabzon is over, it's closed. If you want to reach me out, I am going to share my LinkedIn, or Başak Hanım can share my LinkedIn account. And make sure that you meet people through professional networks, because Instagram and Facebook are personal. If you want to do business, if you want to meet people who may be your potential team members, you can use professional network like LinkedIn. I'm checking chat to see if there are any questions. I think no. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this comprehensive speech. It was a very good speech in the sense that it gave us good ideas about entrepreneurship and ecosystem network. It was very informative. Thank you very much for the participation. Please share your LinkedIn account so that people can you to their networks. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Have a nice flight. Thank you.